Issues in Education is a national thought leadership platform. Listen as Dr. Jim Rosborg, Director of Masters in Education at McKendree University, Dr. Robert Daiber, Regional Superintendent, Madison County, Illinois, and Dennis Young, President and CEO of Ittner Architects, discuss giving the students and teachers the skills they need to compete in today's global economy. How nimble are schools and classrooms today in trying to incorporate some of these new philosophies? Are teachers embracing them?
I think one of the things that has brought about, let's say, some innovation at all levels has been the movement of STEM education in our schools on both sides of the river. That STEM is a movement of how we bring subject matters, and they have an interdisciplinary appeal to the instructional process. And I've had parents ask me, well, is STEM a new subject area? Well, we're talking about the relation of science, technology, engineering, and math, and the skills that kids acquire through engaged learning activities in these subject areas that makes learning real. And this is a real change in instruction to where we maybe just taught isolated one subject matter area, but today we're bringing this content together through an engaged activity, and I think that is so important as to how our students are gaining new skills that see real application in our world today.
Is STEM hype, or is it really beneficial to our children?
Well, I think it is because of many of the outcomes that we see as a result of how young people can apply their knowledge and really understand their thought process, and it begins kids expanding their knowledge into particular areas and at particular levels that they were not given that opportunity to do before. And so I am very much a proponent on STEM education. Have worked diligently with schools and with Illinois Math Science Academy in Illinois. We have a program that's at the middle school. It's called IMSMA Fusion, that has really helped promote middle school STEM initiatives.
When it comes time to enter the workforce, does it make a difference that students had access to school-provided technology?
Well, many of them already have those tools at home. Mm-hmm. To have them at school and to have those kids that are somewhat disadvantaged to have them really kind of creates more of a even playing field among all of them. But, you know, those are just basic tools that in the business world we use every day in what we do. When we invite some of the teachers, we invite 50 teachers at a time to come into our office to see what it is that we do, and we break them into smaller groups. They're teaching in their individual classrooms, but they don't know what's going on outside their classroom in the world that we live in. And when they see that, then they can make that connection and bring that back to students in their classroom in terms of lesson plans and hands-on examples. And technology is just, you know, it's changing at such a fast rate. Where it's going to be in 3 years, you know, education's going to have to keep up with that rate of change. And that's tough for organizations to change that quickly.
What about budgets and keeping up with the latest technologies, making sure that your educators know how to teach and use it?
Well, that's a huge problem right now in education. And like it or not, no one wants to head that way, especially legislators. But the fact of the matter is, education still needs the funding necessary to provide the tools needed for these kids. You look in Illinois, the huge discrepancy between what children in some schools in rural communities and in impoverished communities have as far as the tools needed for learning. And somehow, if we want to lessen the educational gap, we have to lessen the opportunity gap. And that is, and for education to keep up with today's society, not only technology, but what Bob was talking about too, you have to be able to have hands-on activities for kids. You know, even in geography, to have the maps available to work directly with their hands. In mathematics, to have the tools to work with their hands. Science especially, to have the hands-on tools to be able to take the book learning that was a focus when I was in school to now the transition, because technology has forced us not to just have books to read. You have to have the support materials for that to happen, for educators to keep up with today's market, and money is a key component of that.
How do we convince parents the need to shift some of our ideas of how we teach in the classroom? How challenging is this?
Well, we always have to realize, I think, that things change in our society, and everybody went to school, so every parent, I think, that comes into a classroom thinks about school as it was when they were there. Mm-hmm. And I always use this analogy with parents. Your home isn't the way it was when you went to school, so the school's probably not going to be exactly like it was when you went either, because we have changed with times, and we have changed to provide kids with opportunities to learn new materials in different ways. And we were just talking about, is it important that every child has a Chromebook? If you're going to read ebooks, you've got to have it. Okay, if you're going to utilize the internet as to seek out, let's say, reference materials, and you're going to do this expediently with kids, yes, you have to have it. And it's the way that we live in our world today. So it's the most realistic setting for instruction to take place. And also, in light of what Jim has been talking about in teacher preparation, we are in the process of preparing a new type of teacher for this next century.
Thank you for listening to Issues in Education. Please visit our Knowledge Library for access to other national leaders.